G'day guys, well, welcome back to Supercoach Swordplay and welcome to my round 18 review. A 25-12, finally, I think it's been for the first time in 5 or 6 weeks, I see a green arrow back into the top 2%, went up over 1,200 spots this week, and the overall rank sits at about 3.5k. A bit of a comeback week. I'm not expecting great things from here on out, but I think the unfortunate thing for lots of teams is the reason why I shot up the ranks so much this week was because there were teams that were faced with a lot of carnage. Now, I cop Xerri a pretty bad score, and who knows how long he's going to be out for. But there are other teams with Tuke Miller, Nick Martin, Connor Rosey. We're still not sure exactly what Rosey's done to himself. But no, with Martin, I think he's gone for the rest of the season. Very, very tough luck for many coaches. I avoided most of it. So you never want to go well because other coaches are copping injuries, but just one of those okay type weeks for me. So what are we going to do in this video? We're going to take a look through the side. We're going to choose some nice captains and vice captains for the week. But probably more importantly, we're really going to discuss, or anyway from my side, the Tristan Xerri replacements, because I'm guessing it's going to be 2 at an absolute minimum. But I think we could be even looking at 3. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to prepare for the worst and look to trade him out at this stage. So what are you going to do? How much carnage are you faced with? We'll go through all the options for your Rosies, your Martins, as well as Xerri in the Swordplay potty this week. But I'll check out a few of the options I'm keen on and then decide whether or not I play it safe, just use 1 trade, or use 2 to go up to one of the absolute big dogs. Alrighty, so here we are. The defensive line this week let me down a little bit. Wanganeen Miller with an 86. Now, I did call this on the potty last week. I expected a bit of a down game from him. He has not let me down so far, so I'm going to give him a little bit of a mulligan this week, and hopefully he will reward us again next week. So I'm not too concerned whatsoever about Wanganeen Miller. Zorks with a 107. Very, very nice to see. Dale couldn't quite get to the 193. Been a little bit up and down, but with some of the carnage that people face with this week in your back line, like your Martins and your Rosies, I'm not going to complain with 93. Whitfield came back for a 105, which is very nice. Sinclair back to form with a 106. He's been shocking. His 3-rounder has been absolutely terrible, so good to see him pick up a little bit of form there. Callum Mills, he's been down, up, down for me. I've owned him for 3 weeks. Had a couple of absolute dodgy scores. His was the lowest on my field this week. I was hoping it would be a Tristan Xerri, but unfortunately, it was Callum Mills, and I suppose he's not injured, and he's a warm body at the moment that hopefully I can potentially loop. I'll need to have a look at the fixtures and work that out, but he's been really disappointing there. Obviously, these folks didn't play. Now, the midfield, this is where the big points came from this week, and super happy with everyone pretty much bar 2, and the disappointments were obviously my VC in Dacos. I'd pretty much locked in a 120 to 125 score here, but not to be, and it was absolutely nerve-wracking because I mentioned this in the live, but I checked out Pig's best captain options as well as the third man up's best captain options, and I had no one apart from Wanganeen Miller. And as I said, I just had a bit of gut feel it would be a low week for him. So who'd I go with? The big Bond. If in doubt, just go with the big fella, and he delivered a 174. The best thing about this, I witnessed it live. So went to the footy with Brent, obviously a Mad Crow supporter, and didn't we have a fantastic time? He obviously got the win as a Crom supporter. I had Rankin, who scored really well. Bont, obviously, as the big captain. Didn't go too well with Sam Darcy. A little bit of a failure, but all in all, a brilliant day. And also got to watch the Dunkley 150 Plus live on a Thursday night. That was spectacular. And you can see here as well, and George Hewitt for a 131. That was brilliant. You can see as well that I actually looped Xerri for his 76. So I thought with the early game, I've got McCarthy I can put on field, and ended up making, 11 points on that. So a small little win. You got to take these little wins as you go. Dawson with a 157. This is absolutely fantastic because I didn't pen this in to be a really big score. And with the upcoming schedule that he's got, this is a super bonus for me. So really happy with Jordan Dawson. Hewitt, as I said, with a 131. He's been solid. Had that 85 the week before, but I've got a 120 and now a 131 from him. So that's all good. Pretty happy there. Brayshaw, the 121. Really nice game. He's been a little bit down lately, so that's really good to see. Dunks. Love this. Actually being at the game, being able to support this man, yell out, and just really enjoy it up close and personally, you can't beat it. And one of my favourite players, obviously, a 150 plus, back to form for Dunks, which is really nice. She's with the 123, wasn't looking good early, but then really got into the game. And the good thing for me was when I was looking at my team, there are a fair few chains that involved Sheasel, McKercher, as well as Daniel. So it was super good to be able to see your three players that you own share the ball with each other and get involved. So, yeah, really happy with that 123. And as I said, McCarthy came on for his 87. I think he's a pretty safe 80 plus, this bloke. So, is he decent coverage? Yeah, I think that we can't complain too much. So, I'm pretty happy just to loop him from week to week or even play him on field as my 23rd if we need to. Chera, really disappointing with a 76. The box got a full game, but could only manage a 40, well, under 40, 39, which isn't great. But hey, in case of emergency, if he gets it and you're avoiding a 0, we'll take it. Daywicks didn't play. Big talking point here was Xerri. So Gawn absolutely dominated Xerri today. Didn't dominate the Supercoach score sheet, but remember last time these two guys played, Xerri made Gawn look second rate pretty much, didn't he? And some people actually got out of the Gawn pick, believe it or not, after that match. So, yeah, it certainly turned around this time. And Gawn, he said to Xerri, look, son, I'm still the number one ruckman here in the comp. You're getting closer, but not quite there yet. Now, Xerri, what's going to happen? I don't know, but let's just say that he's going to get 2-3 weeks, 4, who knows? Then I'm going to look to trade him out this week. If not, yeah, then I'd love to be able to just hold him. But we'll talk about that when we get to the trades. Baz, super disappointing with a 73, but the highest owned player in the game. We all suffer unless you've got him as captain, then you're really suffering there. Ranked with 105, really hit form and has a nice fixture coming up. So if you traded him out a couple of weeks ago, you may be regretting it, but really good to see as an owner who's really stuck fat for a long time after no tons, was it a couple of months? It seemed like forever. He's done really well in the last couple of weeks. So happy own there. Daniel, Mini Boy with a 102. Love this man. Now, the Mini Boy nickname, the boys were talking, some of Max's mates, and they said, you own the Mini Boy because I love the Supercoach. I said, what are you talking about there? And apparently they had a footy clinic, and that was a nickname that he said, was it his uncle or something had for him, Mini Man or something like that. So, yeah, they said he was a really nice bloke, really friendly when they had the clinic there. So shout out to Caleb Daniel there. Warner with an 84, less than a 95. 95 is sort of that benchmark for me from Warner. So disappointing, but not an absolute disaster. Darcy with the 79. This bloke should get so many more free kicks than what he does. It may be owner's bias. Maybe, but it just seems like he gets ripped off and should get more than what he does. But I'm not going to complain. And I'm not going to complain about this. A 90 from Bolton, absolutely fantastic. When you had him out scoring players like your Track, obviously Nick Martin, that's a big win for me. So I'll take that. Very, very nice from Shea. Obviously the bench didn't play. And then we had my man with a 110. We're going to call him the artist, Colby McKercher. Very, very nice there. So getting close to 500k. When I bought him in, he had a bit of a dodgy week, but then he's sort of gone better, better, better. We love the role. We know he gets a lot of the football. It's all about how he uses it, obviously. So a triple figure score, magnificent from Colby McKercher. So let's get to what I'm going to look to do with my trades this week. Xerri, we're going to say that he's Gonski. So it's unfortunate, but you know, what do we do? I think we've got to let him go. Now, my bank is 607k. So let's just go from average. You look at the averages here, and I can't believe that Brody still isn't there. Brody, look, if we go to the 3 and the 5, like, he's smashing it. But let's just go overall averages. He is the man that you want, clearly. But I am 130k away from him. So I just don't think that that's going to be realistic. I may look at some wild options, but I just don't see a way for me. Now, I can afford Dogger Jackson, who's 602. So he's big time in the conversation for me. Darcy Cameron is another player, potentially. You've got your English, you've got your wits, but there's no one really that's putting their hand up. The bloke I probably like, it's not DeConning, Lloyd Meek could be a pod. If you look at The 3 earned average air 127, 121 for the 5 round. That's not too shabby. But it's this man here, Rowan Marshall, 131 and 119 for the 3 and the 5. But I think he's probably got the best run out of the other options here. And I can, excuse me, just afford him. The Nank's a real pod. Right, no. So none of the other blokes really are going to be realistic options for me. Some may look at Big Kizza, but I don't necessarily like his run. What we are going to do in the potty is take a deep dive into all the ruck options, but more importantly, look at their run. It's too complicated for me to get in with this video, and you want the experts in Janath and Rossco anyway when it comes to all the DVS and all that sort of stuff. So we'll talk about that on Tuesday night. So it's going to be either Dogger or Rowan Marshall. How far? 130, you just can't, can you? Now, the big Dogger, big break even, but we don't worry about that because this is going to be the season. So we've got Darcy Cameron at the G, then a couple of weeks at home. West Coast, always a very, very nice matchup. And then Carlton, well, that's going to be most likely Pito, isn't it? Port Adelaide, a very, very juicy matchup. The Lions, not too bad. And then you got Timmy English. So I'll tell you what, 2 very juicy matchups here in the next month. DPP, which really isn't a factor when you take things into account. Interesting are these 2 of his lowest scores, 80 and 84 in the last 2 weeks, which is why we said at high break even, 64. Yeah, so that's interesting, isn't it? Darcy's come back in again, 2 of his lowest scores. But you saw what he did, 163 against Port last time, 165 against West Coast, albeit maybe in a bit of a different situation. It was Shrek in, 111 against Collingwood, who he plays again. So he's actually had good history just this year. Carlton hasn't played. Brisbane, no. And Dogs, 115. So all of his remaining opponents who he's actually played this year, he scored well against. But yeah, Shrekin may be a bit of a different kettle of fish. Now, we look at Timmy English. I don't think that I could go here. But he has been really consistent. So you look from round 13 against Hawthorn, 127, 115, 142, a pair of 109s, and then that 98. And the 98 isn't a disaster. You know, double basically what Xerri did this week. Lions, Essendon, nice. Kizza, Gorn, bad. West Coast, and then Freo could be okay. Yeah, it's probably, is it Romo? Geelong, I like this matchup against Geelong for Romo. What's he done last time? 121. Yeah, so that's a really nice matchup for him. That's not. Well, technically, if Xerri gets 3 weeks, this isn't going to be Xerri. And I'm assuming, let's just say all these are with Xerri, against Xerri. So, boom. I don't mind that. And then we go to Richmond, who I think thinks a good matchup. Essendon, and then GWS. Okay, so if this isn't Xerri here, Geelong, non-Xerri, Nank, Essendon, then Kizza. The only one you're really worried about here is Gorn. I think it's Rowan. I can just do it. 9K in the bank. Look, the bloke that you want, he's Brodie Grundy. I really like the look of Rowan, though, but clearly it's going to be Grundy. This is going to be painful. Look at this. At the SCG, who's going to be the number 1 ruck? I don't know, but it's not going to be Xerri. Then he comes in GWS, Essendon. Brisbane, Geelong, West Coast. Oh, this is... I've got 3 trades left. Do I use 2 just to get Grundy? Can I? It's going to be a mission. But look at this here. Look at all these captain-worthy games. And just looking quickly at my team this week, I don't know how many obvious captain choices there are. But if you've ever seen one, a Sherryless North at the SCG, come on. Then you've got Essendon at the SCG. Geelong at the SCG. And then West Coast. And look at the scores that you're dealing with here. Let's look from here, from round 12 up to round 18. 161, 155, 159, 179, 127, 154. So his second worst score in the last 6 weeks is a 154. He's gone 150 plus in 5 out of the last 6 weeks. You are having an absolute laugh here. All right, let's just look at the options. Now, you've got to ask yourself this. Is it safer to potentially run with a donut for the last 2 weeks of the season and get this man in, not knowing, not guaranteeing, but looking likely to finish with some lovely 150s? I know for lots of us, I know for me, if I don't trade Xerri, just a minimum amount for 2, then I can't replace him. I've got no one to replace him with, so I'm running with 22. I'm not dropping a score. Was I 130 away? Clay Hall. Would I have been able to do it with Clay Hall? Probably. I may have. Excuse me. That's frustrating. All right, so there's no way I can do it with any of my benches there. I'm going to have to get creative, am I? So I can't do it with the bench. If I was to trade Xerri out, I'm not getting... Not my midfield. I can't do that, can I? We're looking at someone at 330. It's like... ideally, I'd love to get out of this pick, but you can't. You're looking at, what, 85 type range. Bolton at 395. Nah, that's way too low. Darcy... there's just no one. I can't go to 300 mark. Warner... I have to go the big boy in Baz. But Baz's run. Baz to Myers, what's that? 438. It doesn't make a lot of sense trading out Baz, does it? No way. No way. Talk about meant to be. Is this meant to be? Am I meant to reunite with my ex in JHF, getting horny? You would not believe it. You would not believe it. But Baz's run it's nuts, isn't it? So maybe, maybe a win, take a tag. Oh, no, you can't, can you? North, Port, Essendon, Sydney, Richmond. Tell me that you don't want to own Baz here. Is this the pod move that I need to make? Or I could just go Rowan Marshall. I could just go Xerri to Marshall, call it a day. That's the sensible thing to do. I think so. But do you know what? It's the fact that I've got $0 left. 438, 600. That's nuts. Well, he's not going to get tagged, surely. It's got to be Butters. Hawthorn, Adelaide, Geelong, Freo, Carlton, Gold Coast. Oh, damn. For Baz. It's just for Baz. It's good. Okay. Yeah. I can't get... It'd have to be someone. So who's my highest? I'm not trading out... What does Dacos give me? 471. Dacos to like Kennedy or... No, I'm not doing that. So I'm not trading out Dacos. I'm not trading out Bond. I'm not trading out Dawson. Just got in Georgie, but I'm not doing that. No, okay. Is it like... I won't have enough here. Not trading out. Zorko? 390. See, it's just... James Sicily? 114? Matty Roberts, sub-risk. Dan Houston? Port, Carlton, Adelaide, Collingwood, Melbourne, Brisbane. I don't really know what those matchups are like. This is obviously injury here. Blows out the cobwebs, then back for 114, but 50, 84. Little decent run. Like he's only put on consecutive tons once this year. You can almost count this. I don't know about matchups, but I'd much rather keep Baz. What's the difference going to be between, say, Marshall? For make the one trade, it'll be Marshall and Zorko, or Grundy and Sicily. Keeping in mind the importance of wanting to keep a trade if I can. Dan Houston, 103. Wouldn't I love to bring the Pepsi Max King in just for the sake of it? He's got Richmond coming up. Oh, that's yuck, isn't it? Richmond. He's a pod though, and so is Grundy. Won't be as much of a pod after this round. The Pepsi Max King, 390. Nah. Do I go Zorko to Sicily? Baz to JHF. Just not having Baz on those weeks, it's going to be so tough. But for $0, what's Flanders been? Okay, so with Tuke out, how bad's his hammy? With Tuke out, you've got Adelaide, Brisbane, Richmond. Could he come back? The bloke hasn't scored a ton. I can't do it, can I? The bloke has not scored a ton. Imagine if a move like that worked. I'm bringing in 2 massive pods if I did that. But really, for a bloke that hasn't hit the ton, you're hoping it's going to be a complete role change and he just gets that midfield time. Because we know when he does, he can go bananas. Do you know what? There are actually a couple of interesting options here if I was willing to just send this without using the 2 trades. Not much more there I can do. Noddy, Rawpool. Yeah, we're going with some interesting options here, aren't we? Desmond, Jace Burgoyne. Levi, get Levi back. Yeah, all right. I think at this stage, I'm thinking of sending it and getting Grundy in. I really am. The sensible move here is to certainly just go your one trade. Xerri to Marshall, for example. Do you know what? It's like getting Grundy in. Could it actually be the better move here? I hate this, but Sicily Mills, Chera. Or the other move here is the Baz, which I just... I don't think I can do it. With the upcoming matchups that he's got, it's going to hurt so much. But could you look at it as almost a swap for Grundy? All right, let's just do that because it seems very clean, very poetic in a way. All right, now my captains may completely change because I won't have Brodie Grundy, but currently I do. So guess what? I'm going straight there. I'm going straight there, and I want to VC him if I can. So Essendon Giants. Well, who are the big boys I've got? So Collingwood with Dacos. He's got Freo who may tag, but that's a later game. The Bont. So Bont against Brisbane. Dawson. Who have Adelaide got? I haven't seen. Goal. Actually, that's a really decent matchup for midfielders. Georgia Bell with Carlton against Melbourne could be okay. I'm not confident in any one of these guys. Gawn, Melbourne. Who's he reckon against? Pito, TDK. All right, so I think what I'm going to do... who's Nazai got? Geelong. Whitfield, Essendon, early. Now, I think I might actually go Grundy's VC. Hopefully get a good captain score there. Actually, if I did go Zorko to Sicily, I could actually go Baz potentially here, although Windy may tag him. But it'll be into Dawson as a captain. It looks so much better with Grundy there, doesn't it? And being that reliable, hopefully, around the 150 mark captain, it makes the team look a lot better. But then you get to the forward line without Baz. Does he have any tag? Yeah, well, potentially a tag game. Do they tag Holmes? Let me know what you think, guys. Should I get Romo in? Because, again, he has a pretty decent fixture. Has a really nice 3-5 round average. Just in the one trade. Leave 2 on the bank. Be sensible. I'm in some cash leagues. Should I just be sensible? Or should I get Brodie in? And if so, is it Sicily for Zorko? Or is it the horny one in for Baz? I really don't know which way I want to go. I'm thinking even more the Zorko Sicily because Baz could have a massive ceiling and be a VC captain option for me in the last 6 weeks. But I just don't know at this stage. Let me know what you're going to do, guys. Thank you very much to everyone that is still watching. I don't know how many people are going to get around the content for the last 6 weeks, but we'll continue to produce it. We enjoy it. So stay tuned for the potty. Stay tuned for everything else that we're going to pump out, GDS-wise, and the boys with the lives. But until then, guys, that is it for now. Thank you very much for watching. All the best. Much love. And we'll see you soon in the next one. Cheers. Bye.